Ghana, like many other countries, grapples with the issues of unemployment. Providing job opportunities for the growing population, especially university graduates, poses significant challenges for the nation. However, participating in the one-year mandatory national service has become a significant avenue for graduates to alleviate unemployment. During this period, graduates are deployed to various user agencies contributing their skills and knowledge to both public and private organizations. As the 2022 and 2023 service year comes to an end, some service personnel have shared their experiences with Citi News, expressing concerns about finding employment.
Coming to the service, I had a lot of things in mind. I wanted to build up my capacity, my skills, yeah, and also I know that the service comes with a little bit of stipend, so that was my main goals. Yeah, to gain something out of it, not only money but also some skills needed for life. It's very, very much challenging looking at the timing of payment of the allowances. As you see, yeah, the allowances wasn't really coming during the start. It wasn't really coming as we wanted, as we expected it to come. But then with time, we realized that it was flowing. But oh yeah, quack 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 movement, but yeah. So I'm basically into instrumentation. So sometimes when I get a gig for one or two things, so I'm able to get a little bit to support myself. I know if you believe it, I know believing is not enough, but also you believe and you have to work towards it. No matter what, there is something out there for me. I believe it. There is something out there that I can depend on. I can look up to maybe say that I'm going to start this business, I'm going to start this. Not only the gig per se, but also some jobs that I know some friends here who are into things, and they are likely to help me because right now in the world it depends on who you know and who knows you, and I can say that I'm not really deeply connected, but I know that I know some people who I can put one or two something so that I can get a job.
However, some service personnel have entrepreneurial skills of their own. Meet Richmond Annan, who plans to venture into agriculture after completing his service. He acknowledges the challenges of securing a public sector job and urges the government to support students with entrepreneurial aspirations.
I initially said I don't really I don't really admire being in a governmental business field. I want to be an entrepreneur. So I've been doing research and all that. So this time on what I want to do as an entrepreneur, as to the business plan, the finances, everything that goes into the business plan. I've put in all those things down to this point, and I'm still working on it. So immediately I finish, I find a way to get funds and just start executing. A lot of students have very, very great entrepreneur ideas that sometimes I talk to my mates and they say something, they give an idea they have. I'm like, wow, it's really, really great. It's really a great idea, but it's about executing and where to start from. They don't know how to start it, where to start it, and how it's going to go. And this, actually, I think the government should have a hand in. It should come inside and take those students or talk to students who have those ideas.
To address post-service employment issues, the National Service Scheme introduced the Deployment for Employment policy in 2022. As part of this initiative, the scheme has created an electronic job platform where service personnel can engage with companies in need of their services for employment opportunities. Ambrose Entiwa Jr., the Acting Director of Corporate Affairs at the National Service Scheme, explained in an interview with Citi News that the focus for the 2023 and 2024 service year will be on deploying more service personnel to the private sector to enhance their chances of employment.
Deployment for employment is an idea that came somewhere last year. The main thing is to work towards getting national service personnel who are going to exit from the scheme into the world of work, so that there could be a way out, that there will be ready employment for them. So we are saying that we are deploying for employment. And that is why this fits directly into the statement we issued yesterday with regard to our focus on private sector. That we are saying that the person will be is private sector driven. We understand that the public sector is choked and every policymaker is aware, but we can always expand the private sector for as long as there are enabling environments that are being created by the state for them. So we believe that more of the service personnel who are exiting could venture into the private sector. And by private sector, it might not necessarily always be big companies. You know, one person can set up a small business and even get one or two people to as his employees, and it's a private sector driven, a company or an institution. So we are saying that more of these service personnel will be channeled towards this area, and we are asking the private institutions and companies to request more of the service personnel so that we can hit a target of about 35 to 40% of the total postings. And usually, those who are retained at the national service are usually in the private sector. We have created a platform called FLAIR. The FLAIR platform has given opportunities to private sector institutions especially to hook onto the platform and then more or less advertise their institutions and companies on the platform for national service personnel to access the information on the various companies. So what it means is that if, for instance, I'm a service person, I could go onto the FLAIR platform and look for companies that are advertising for areas that I may fall within, and then I apply. That helps the service personnel from holding in hand maybe an application letter and CVs going around the whole country looking for where to drop one or the other. So this one on the FLAIR platform, you could select and then put your CV there and all that. And the other good thing is that the companies themselves are also having access to the platform, so they could also go and pick from the service personnel who have placed their CVs and then information there for them to select from, and then be able to train them and then employ them and retain.
The scheme has also expressed concerns about the lack of integration of service personnel into the workforce of user agencies. This lack of integration often leads to the lackadaisical attitude among some service personnel towards work. The National Service Scheme encourages organizations to provide adequate training for service personnel, integrating them into the workplace during their 1-year service period.
Some institutions you go, you realize the national service personnel are put aside totally because they consider them to be national service personnel. And so even if they are having some activities at the place of work, in some cases they just neglect the service personnel. This attitude is not good enough. We must acknowledge the fact that these are young people, graduates coming out of the universities and other tertiary institutions who are being trained. National Service Period is a period of training and preparing them for the world of work. So if you don't give them that opportunity to experience work ethics, we are not helping them. So it is incumbent on especially the HR department to ensure that they train them whilst they are there with them and prepare them adequately to go into the world of work. And that is why sometimes in some of the areas they even retain them. For those who take them through proper training, they retain them, because you wouldn't want to lose very good materials when you have trained, when you have especially put in a lot of resources to train them, then later you let them go like that.
With uncertainties surrounding future job prospects for most national service personnel each year, the National Service Scheme offers the following advice to graduates who participate in the mandatory 1-year service.
We always advise the service personnel that, see, where you have been posted to do your national service, put up very good conduct. Show that you are willing to work and stay there. Like I said earlier, there are some service personnel who think that, I'm only doing my national service. So, like you said, if she's a lady, she'll go and sit there, and all she does is to be filing the nails. Like she has nothing to do. Which employer will want to keep such a person? And sometimes we get reports of such situations. So we encourage them to get integrated into the work system where you have been posted to do your national service, and make it very difficult for them to let you go. So we always say that, make it difficult for them to let you go. Because there are some places that they say, no, as for this particular guy, we cannot let him go because he's so good. Since he came here, even though he's a service person, he has changed the environment wherever he's working. He's changed the atmosphere. He's changed this. Whatever you give him, he will do. He's bringing innovations. He's bringing some suggestions. Every day there's something new coming up. And so for such a person, we cannot let him go just like that.